Welcome, followers of Christ and fellow Vlog channel members. Today, we're diving into the deep depths of the Bible to explore the remarkable Book of Job. It's a unique text that can teach us valuable lessons about suffering, God's justice, and our response as Christians. The Book of Job opens in the obscure land of Uz, far from Israel. Its protagonist, Job, isn't even an Israelite, and the author keeps the historical setting intentionally vague. This is done to focus our attention on the story's central theme, the questions raised by Job's suffering. The book's prologue presents us with a heavenly courtroom scene where God interacts with various heavenly beings, including the accuser, or the Satan. The accuser challenges God's justice, suggesting that Job's righteousness is only due to God's blessings. God permits the accuser to inflict suffering on Job. But why? This book doesn't provide a direct answer to why good people suffer. It's setting the stage for deeper questions. Job is approached by three friends: Eliphaz the Temanite, Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamathite. Like Job, they are non-Israelites and represent the best of ancient Near Eastern thinking about God and suffering. The heart of the book lies in the back-and-forth dialogue between Job and his friends. Job argues that he's innocent, and his suffering isn't a divine punishment. He even accuses God of being unjust. His friends, on the other hand, argue that God is just and suggest that Job must have sinned. Job's emotional roller coaster reflects his struggle with the idea of God's justice. A surprise friend, Elihu, enters the scene. He shares the same assumption about God's justice, but offers a more nuanced perspective. Elihu proposes that suffering may not always be punishment for past sins, but could serve other purposes, like teaching valuable lessons or building character. The climax of the book is God's response. He takes Job on a virtual tour of the universe, emphasizing the complexity and vastness of creation. This tour challenges Job's limited perspective and assumptions about divine justice. God describes the majestic creatures, Behemoth and Leviathan, as symbols of the wild and sometimes dangerous nature of God's creation. The world is both amazing and unpredictable, and suffering is part of this complex reality. After God's response, Job humbly acknowledges his limitations and repents for accusing God. His willingness to wrestle with his emotions in pain and prayer is seen as the right way to process suffering. The book concludes with God affirming Job's wrestling and the inadequacy of the friend's simplistic views. Job's health, family, and wealth are restored not as a reward for good behavior, but as a generous gift from God. So, what does the Book of Job teach us as Christians? It invites us to trust in God's wisdom when we encounter suffering. When we search for reasons, we may oversimplify God, or, like Job's friends, make accusations based on limited evidence. In your own life, remember that God cares, and He knows what He's doing, even when it seems unclear. Trust in His wisdom, and bring your pain and grief to Him in prayer. This book reminds us that our relationship with God is more about trust and faith in His character than finding immediate answers. Thanks for joining us on this journey through the Book of Job. We hope you found inspiration and motivation to navigate life's challenges with faith and trust in God's wisdom. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.